The 2025-2026 academic year was one of the craziest years in the history of Iowa State athletics. And on this episode, we're going to be going through all of those major events that led to the chaos that was 2025-2026. This is the season finale of the Ames Angle.
First athletic event of the 25-26 school year was the Aer Lingus Football Classic that was in Dublin, Ireland, which saw Iowa State take on Kansas State. And in that matchup, Iowa State beat the Wildcats with a 24-21 victory to kick off all of the athletic events for the school year. More recently, coming out of that, the Iowa Freedom of Information Council sued this Iowa State University, claiming that the university violated public records laws by withholding financial information.
Speaking of football, at the conclusion of that regular season, former head coach Matt Campbell decided he would part ways with Iowa State and head to Penn State for the foreseeable future. And he not only left with him and his staff, he brought a majority of the Iowa State football roster with him, including quarterback Rocco Becht. Now, this forced Iowa State into a kind of a frenzy. Within the next day, they had their new head coach, Jimmy Rogers, from Washington State, bringing in a new staff. And really, it was a crazy time for that Iowa State football team and the transfer portal, with Campbell and his guys leaving, and then Rogers hanging on to a few of the people and bringing in his own guys. And the spring showcase and spring football for Rogers went well. We talked to his staff and him twice, and he seemed happy with the progress. But come August, we'll see what is Jimmy Rogers' football going to be like in the Big 12. Another chaotic moment of this academic year was the gymnastics team. The season started all as well for the Cyclones, traveling around the country, doing gymnastics things, and until they traveled out to the University of Denver in Colorado, where they competed in what would be known as their last ever competition as a program. The season was suspended/canceled shortly after that meet, and cited were injuries and a bunch of other reasons, including issues with the coaching staff, the facilities, and the exact answer never really came to the media. But we know that the season was canceled, and then the program was discontinued shortly after with a video message produced on March 3rd by endowed director of Cyclone Athletics, Jamie Pollard, ending the season. Now, with gymnastics going out, it allowed Iowa State, or forced Iowa State, to go into a period where they had to add a women's sport to comply with Title IX, stating that women and men's sports must have equal, or women must have more opportunities on a college campus to compete under the NCAA.
The departure of the women's gymnastics program opened the opportunity for the women's wrestling program to take its place. Leading the program is going to be Aleigha St. John, who was an Olympian for women's wrestling from 2011 to 2021 for Team USA. And during that time, St. John earned 2 silver medals for the program. And as St. John makes her shift to Iowa State and coaching this team, the team looks to set and begin its operations in the 2027-2028 school year for Iowa State. St. John is also married to Derek St. John, who is currently the associate head coach under head coach Brett Metcalf for the men's wrestling team here at Iowa State.
At a press conference announcing the new women's wrestling team, I asked Jamie Pollard about what the facilities would be like. And he gave me an answer that kind of shocked some people. And the women's wrestling team will not be joining the men's team at the Lead recreational facility. It'll be taking the place of the gymnastics practice facility at Beyer Hall. Now, the gymnastics community had a lot of complaints about the facilities at Beyer Hall, including temperature control, safety for the athletes regarding gymnastics and the foam pits. Now, Pollard said that they will be putting renovations into that area, getting rid of all the gymnastics and turning it into a wrestling facility that, quote, could make the men jealous. So that situation at Bayer Hall is going to be definitely interesting for the women's wrestling team, as those renovations are not going to cost the athletic department a lot, is what Pollard said, is just minor upkeep and rebranding of the facility. And another topic of that press conference was the 10 scholarships that will be allocated for women's wrestling. And with a new program, you can't use all those 10 scholarships right at the beginning, so you have to space those out a little bit. So Allie St. John is working hard to recruit her first team and get a team that can compete, not just be good that first season of Cyclone women's wrestling. And to sum it up, is you can't win a national championship in the off season, but you can definitely lose one. So that's what Allie St. John and Iowa State Athletics will be doing under new director of wrestling, former men's wrestling head coach and now director of wrestling Kevin Dresser.
Monday marked the closing of the women's basketball transfer portal, which showcased 1,500 players entering their names searching for new homes, 9 of which were former Cyclones. 7 of those 9 Cyclones have found their future homes, while 2 of them remain undecided on their futures. Junior center Audie Crooks is headed to a fellow Big 12 school, Oklahoma State. Junior guard Jada Williams is headed to LSU. Elisa Williams and Kenzie Hare are both headed to Indiana. Lily Taulay is headed to Rice. Reagan Wilson is headed to Toledo. And Reese Beatty is headed to Mississippi State. The 2 Cyclones who are still in search of their future homes are Eiley Tanky and Addie Brown.
The max exodus of women's basketball players raised questions within the program, some kind of surrounding head coach Bill Fenley. Now, any rumors of Bill Fenley's retirement or departure were waived in a video message by athletic director Jamie Pollard, and he said Bill Fenley has a lifetime contract and he plans to coach the Cyclones next season. We'll see what happens. Some transfer portal arrivals have kind of come in to the program slowly but surely, but the whole development of this situation was very interesting and definitely chaotic and kind of one of the last major events of the academic year. That just about wraps up all the chaos that was the 2025-2026 academic year for Iowa State athletics. And as our season finale, we have some people we'd like to thank. Colby Schwantes, the visuals editor, one of the visuals editors here at the Iowa State Daily, goes through all of the footage that doesn't make the final cut and turns it into the beautiful product that you all get to enjoy. We'd like to thank him for his time throughout the semester and the whole year of polishing episodes of Sports Weekly and the Ames Angle. Now for Henry Annen and Aleigha Bailey, we're signing off for one last time this season. And thank you for tuning in to the Ames Angle.
And cut.